Welcome back, everybody. We are here with Off the Top, bringing you our number one pick, what we want to see, one match we want to see coming to Ultra Pro Wrestling. Right now, I'm going straight to you, right off the top, unsanctioned. Give us your match type you would like to see come to Ultra Pro Wrestling.
Well, me personally, I would like a street fight and leave the Fortnite stuff aside, like AEW Fight Forever. Give us a street fight, Let us have the backstage fun again.
Beautiful. I love it. And we've heard in the game, it's going to have many backstage areas depending on the size of the venue. You'll have 3 different sizes of backstage areas. So you will definitely get the backstage side. Having a brawl like that, to me, sounds like a lot of fun. But Mr. Kenny Bomb, give us your take. What match would you like to see?
You know what, Mr. Dubbs? I'm not a hard man to please. WWE won't do it. AEW won't do it. So let's have some type of buried alive match in Ultra Pro Wrestling. Of course, they probably can't call it a buried alive match. Make it like an underground match or something where you just got to bury the guy at the end. I think it would work perfect in this game. Something we didn't get in No Mercy. But these days, we got the technology to make it work. Just put a hole somewhere up in the stage and let us throw the guy in it. I would love to see that, and I think it would be a lot of fun. No matter what game it is, I just want the return of a buried alive match.
I absolutely 100% agree with that. The only thing I will say as a caveat to that, because I know a little bit about Ultra Pro Wrestling myself, if you guys didn't know, at launch, I don't think we're getting that match, only because that match didn't debut in wrestling until the 90s, the late 90s. So that would more likely come along the line of the 90s DLC. Once they get the 90s DLC story out, then you would unlock that mode throughout playing the 90s side of the campaign. So matches like that are planned for it, and I do expect to see that in Ultra Pro Wrestling. I'd love to see it at launch, but I think we're going to be getting that one a little bit later into the DLC. But Loaded, what is your match type that you would like to see?
I'm going to say, just give me match creator. Just give me something AEW Fight Forever should have had at launch. Like, let me turn on 2 out of 3 falls match. Turn on Falls Count Anywhere. Like, something. Just give me match creator. Let me, toggle something on and off. That's all I want.
You want
do not repeat the same mistakes AEW did.
So, from what I understand, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say something about that as well, because that is a very good one, because you could make so many different match types out of it.
Agreed.
Like when he said it, First Blood just came to my mind. I'm sorry if that was one of y'all's matches, but if you could turn on First Blood with just a toggle, it doesn't even have to be an option in the game. Like, you can kind of create it on your own. So that was a good one.
Yeah. We've been begging for Fight Forever to be getting match types. If you just gave us the toggle feature, that in itself adds 10 match types right there. Like, it's such a simple solution, but Loaded, you will be pleasantly surprised, because from everything I've heard and hearing from Sam Vallely, that will be an option at launch. You will be able to toggle pins on, pins off, submissions on, submissions off, even for your battle royals. He said, if you want to have a 30-man battle royal where it's First Blood only or TKO only, he said that is all the fun with the Aki games. So that definitely 100% should be actually in the game at launch. So you'll be happy to know that. Bryan, let's get to you.
All right, man. I'm gonna go on ahead and go with the lumberjack match. Just let me fight one-on-one, put everybody around the ring, and throw that brother back in the ring if he get disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? So I would love to see a lumberjack match in this game for sure.
Okay, well, I have to ask you then, have you played the original Aki games like World Tour, No Mercy, WrestleMania 2000, Revenge, those games?
You talking to an O2 baby, my boy.
I'm just saying, have you played them on emulator or anything?
Nah.
Okay, those games did come out before you're born, so that's very fair. But they did have a feature for lumberjack match in those games, but all it meant when you played those old Aki games is that if you got thrown out of the ring, your character would automatically just get up without you controlling it and come back in the ring.
Roll you back in.
It would just get rolled back in. There was nobody on the outside doing it. There was no outside characters, which was really lame. It just meant it was like an inside the ring only match. There was no fighting outside, no diving outside, nothing. And I could see that coming back because it was genuinely a part of those Aki games. I would hate to see lumberjack implemented this way. The fact that they are confident in getting at least 8, 10 plus wrestlers on screen in the game, no problems whatsoever with this engine.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that they could do a lumberjack match where you at least had like a one-on-one lumberjack match and you could have like 8, 10 lumberjacks, say, on the outside of the ring. I would love to see that because we've never seen that in a wrestling game where they just beat you up on the outside and then throw you in.
Yeah.
I don't know the mechanics on how hard that would be to force the AI to eventually have to throw you in the ring rather than just beat you up the whole time. But either way, that would be super cool. But Kero, what about you? What would you like to see?
Man, I can't believe none of you mentioned this. It's the greatest match type of all time, so I thought one of you would have surely picked it. I'm talking about bra and panties. Not just kidding.
Let's go.
Whoa,
Let's
Kero
go.
going off the top.
So I would like to see how they would pull that off in 2024. My real pick is basically Battle Royale elimination style. The person who loses all their health, like, or gets knocked out, basically loses, or the person who gets her pins or submitted loses, and until the last person, the last strongest person is on their feet, the match doesn't end. Simple. Battle Royale, but it's always fun.
So clarify for me, are you talking about just like an elimination style match, like a 4-way, but it's elimination, so not first pinfall wins, you have to eliminate everybody? Or are you talking like a 30-man Royal Rumble where you have to pin, submit, knock out the guy, and be the last one standing?
Could be
Like, what are you
30
talking
man.
about?
My idea was more compact. So like you said, they are planning to have 8 to 10. So 10 wrestlers start in the ring. It's false count anywhere. You can do anything, use anything. You got to survive. That's the only thing. You got to beat everybody else. Yeah. It's fun. Like, you can form friendships, betrayals. It's simple. It's fun. It's
so you're just saying literally like any kind of multi-man match, however many people are in it, and just have the elimination stipulation on. So the match doesn't end when there's a pinfall. It just comes down to the last man.
That is very important to me. Yeah,
the legitimate last man standing. Okay, that I can also confirm should be 100% coming at launch for you. Ooh. You should be able to do that within a whole Royal Rumble of that. Like if you wanted 30, 40 men in a Royal Rumble, you can do that. You might only have 10 on screen at a time, but like as people get eliminated and more people come in, you'll be able to toggle on whether it's knockout, whether it's whatever it is, submission to. I don't know if you could do 2 out of 3 falls in those matches because I don't remember that. So you might have to get pinned twice or something. But yeah, they will have all those toggles on. First Blood, I think, is a really interesting one because in those, as opposed to Fight Forever where you have to use a weapon to make them bleed, in those old Aki games, you could get people to bleed just from like a punch or a strike or a clothesline from hell. Like, it was awesome the way people would bleed in those games. So I really, really enjoyed that. My match, I was gonna say, and I don't necessarily, I agree with the Buried Alive match. I was thinking a coffin match, but I was more thinking on the AEW side. So for Ultra Pro Wrestling, what I would like to see, because I know of what's likely coming at launch, is I would just like to see a lot more of the like a tournament style at launch, like so we can have like not necessarily a King of the Ring, but maybe like a G1 style of like they had with the Continental Classic. Yeah, I would like to be able to have like a tournament and be able to do that online. So if we took the whole podcast, so if we were to take like the whole podcast, we could have our own entire tournament where it's not elimination style, but it's a point-based thing. Yeah. So we all would have to wrestle each other in individual matches, and then whoever comes out at the end comes out a winner, because they did have those in the Aki games. I think World Tour had it. I don't think Revenge had it, but I think World Tour had it. I know the Japanese games had it. I don't think No Mercy or WrestleMania 2000 had it, but I do remember World Tour having something like that, and I do believe the Japanese ones had it. So I actually think it will be in at launch. I hope it is, and I hope it's online friendly, because I would love to just have an off the top. Everybody faces everybody who comes out the victor for the off the top championship or whatever. I think that would be super fun. So for me, that's my pick. But does anybody have any final thoughts?
Yes, we cannot leave out of here without somebody mentioning the cage match, because that is very important in wrestling games, and that is one match that has to be in at launch.
Okay, fair enough. If you want it at launch, I do believe the cage match will be in at launch, because that's something that came through the 80s. I think it's going to be a big part of the 80s storylines with like Dusty Rhodes and the Four Horsemen and stuff like that, Hulk Hogan and King Kong Bundy and stuff like that. So I definitely think you're not only going to get a cage match, but I think you're going to get the chain link fence and you're going to get the steel bars. I think you'll get both of those come at launch. I'm personally pretty confident in that. But everybody else, thank you guys for joining us. Let us know down below your match types, your number one match type that you would like to see come to Ultra Pro Wrestling at launch down below in the comments, and we will catch you guys next time. Deuces.